Good morning. How are you all today? It is morning over here. It may be afternoon or evening wherever you are. Let me see. All right. You should be seeing my full screen there, I hope. So I'm Professor Rod Van Meter from Keio University, and specifically from our Shonan Fujisawa campus, where I'm part of the Faculty of Environment and Information Studies. And so I'm going to spend about 20 minutes talking to you, and then we'll do some Q&A. And I always like to get questions, so I'm very much looking forward to hearing what interests you all. So today we're going to cover just real quickly to sort of set the stage, a little bit about Keio itself and about the Shonan Fujisawa campus where I am. And then we're going to talk mostly about the Giga program because you know the stuff about scholarships and accommodations and admissions and all that sort of thing, it's necessary, but it's not really sort of what drives um, your decisions. And so I want to get to the parts about this that I think will actually excite you and get you interested in coming to join us. So Keio has six major campuses scattered around the Tokyo area, and they're somewhat divided up by function or school that we are part of. The Let's see. So the campus that I am on is the Shonan Fujisawa campus, or SFC, which is shown near the bottom of the screen there. It's the farthest outside of Tokyo itself. It's the youngest of the major campuses in terms of our construction. And so it's pictured in the upper right there. And we do have this beautiful campus, which I think you'll enjoy coming to. Keio itself was founded in 1858, which makes it the oldest institution of higher learning in Japan. They maybe not so old compared to some of the thousand-year-old universities in Europe, but by Asian standards, it's pretty old. And the founder of Keio was Yukichi Fukuzawa, who's pictured there on the right. And in the lower right, you'll see that that's his picture on the 10,000 yen bill. And the reason that Fukuzawa Sensei's picture was on the 10,000 yen bill was because he was essentially Japan's first modern economist. Um, he had already founded Keio when the Meiji Restoration happened, and he was asked by the government to be one of the representatives who went out and visited other countries. So he visited San Francisco and other places, and he brought back a couple of the important ideas of sort of the modern structure of things, including modern central banking and things like that. So, in a certain sense, he was Japan's first modern economist, and he was also an important educator and believed in, among other things, the education of women, which was pretty rare during the latter part of the 19th century. Let's see. So Keio consists of 10 undergraduate faculties and 14 graduate schools. And for those of you who are in the US, you may be sort of expecting to apply to the university as a whole rather than one specific part of the university, although some universities do use sort of a more specific admissions program. In Japan, and including at Keio, the normal approach is that you apply to one specific faculty or one specific school within the university. So there are 10 of these faculties, and on this list, near the top, you see the Pearl program, which is associated with the Faculty of Economics, and it's our partner program where the language of instruction is English. But the campus and programs that I am from are there at the bottom of the list. That's the Faculty of Policy Management and the Faculty of Environment and Information Studies. And I'm a professor in the latter, the Faculty of Environment and Information Studies. And out here we have what's called the GIGA program for where the language of instruction is English, which of course is the main reason we're talking to you all today. But at our campus, there's no actual wall between the Japanese side of things and the English side of things. And so you'll see a lot about activities that are going on at our campus, and you can participate in all of those. It's not that you'll be restricted to some specific area of campus or some specific set of classes or activities or something. On the right is the list of graduate schools, and while that's not the focus for most of you today, I believe, it's important to understand that Keio is in fact a strong research university with a global reputation across a variety of fields. Because Fukuzawa Sensei was essentially an economist and educator, perhaps the area where Keio is best known is business and economics, but we're also well known in science and technology, and in particular areas such as internet and bioinformatics and things like that. We'll talk some more about that as we go. So overall, just to give you sort of the picture, there are about 33,000 students at Keio. Most of those are undergrads. Several thousand of them are graduate students, 6 or 7,000, I think. Out of that 33,000 students, about 2,000 are classified as international students. Um, Although we also have a significant population of students who have dual citizenship, one of which is Japanese. And in that case, they generally get counted as Japanese students, even if their citizenship, even if their application came from abroad and even if they were raised from abroad. So in addition to that, we have about 2,700 faculty members, including, I think that includes teaching staff as well as the tenured faculty. Keio is Japan's #1 private university in both most domestic rankings as well as some of the international rankings. And I don't like to get too much into the rankings because the no ranking is right for every individual. And so the question is whether or not a particular university is the right fit for you, whether or not there's something there that you want to do, some program you want to be involved in, some situation that will help you thrive and grow. And so that's essentially our focus. But Keio as a whole has connections to about 150 partners for undergraduate exchange programs, including the set that you see there on the screen. The full list is available on the web somewhere. If you want that list, someone from the international office can actually help you find it. But my own students have been involved in these things and have gone various places. One of my students just came back from a year abroad at UC Berkeley, for example. So the GIGA program, this is where I want to actually get explain to you a little bit about what's unique and special about our campus and what makes it different and why it's a good place to be. That set of photos that you're seeing there on the screen, those are our actual students. I think all 3 of them have graduated at this point, but they're actual students from our campus. William there on the left was a member of my group. BB in the middle, and forgotten the guy on the right, but I believe he's from Indonesia. So they're from South Africa, the Czech Republic, and Indonesia, just to give you an example. So the GIGA program is the Global Information and Governance Academic Program. That's the name of it and the goal. And again, it's situated within the context of the Faculty of Policy Management and the Faculty of Environment and Information Studies. And so you can apply to either of those faculties, but once you're admitted, we don't make any distinction between the students, and there's some distinction among the faculty and our research fields, but there's very little that actually matters as far as the students themselves are concerned. So at some universities and at some other parts of Keio, students spend their first year or sometimes first 2 years at one specific campus and then move to another campus for their third and fourth years where they become more specialized. Out at our campus at SFC, you would be at our campus for all 4 years, starting from your first year. SFC was founded in 1990. So I mentioned that Keio was founded in 1858, but this campus was founded in 1990, specifically to be interdisciplinary. And so when I have just a few seconds to explain SFC to people, then what I say is SFC is not the Faculty of Science and Technology, although we do science and technology related things. And I'll tell you a little bit about my research in a couple of minutes. But the core idea of SFC is to apply technology to solving society's problems. So we are interested in the evolution of society and the growth and change, a lot of which, of course, is driven by science and technology. Although there are a lot of faculty and a lot of students who are not really very directly involved in the technology side of things, they're more on the policy and social side of things as well. So the GIGA program, what is it? Well, there's a set of bullet points here, but the way I usually explain things to people is that it's essentially three things. One is an admissions process that's more in line with international standards than the Japanese approach of requiring you to come and sit for a specific exam given in Japanese. So that's not what we do for the GIGA program. You can apply from abroad and without having to come sit for a specific exam or coming for a face-to-face interview or anything like that. Second, it's a promise that we'll make enough classes available in English that you can graduate in 4 years taking classes in English. And third, there is a certificate that's offered that shows that you're actually capable of working in English, which is not so valuable for students whose native language is English, but for students who isn't, it's a valuable sort of thing. So this chart gives you sort of a rough idea of what I just mentioned a minute ago about the distinctions between the faculty. So in the upper part in red and pink is kind of the areas of associated with the Faculty of Environment and Information Studies, whereas the lower part is more about the Faculty of Policy Management. And again, that's the fields that the faculty themselves are involved in, but the students can be involved in any of these. So you can take courses and join the research group of any of these students. So I've mentioned research a couple of times to give you kind of an idea of the set of things that go on at SFC. Here's just a small subset of the many different things that go on. On the left, you'll see social robots, which is about how robots actually interact with humans and how they're actually going to fit into our society. In the middle, we have people who are working on the business of drones as well as the technology for flying drones and the like. And in the upper right, a variety of projects around intelligent transportation systems, including self-driving cars. And in the lower right, for those of you who are interested in sports, we have several faculty who are involved in sports science, some of which, as you can see, involve measuring the performance of athletes very, very quantitatively using various kinds of technology. And it's a fascinating and fun area. They do marvelous things. Going on from there, we have good groups of faculty who are working on architecture in the sense of actual buildings, whereas I teach computer architecture, which is how you construct a computer. And in the upper right, we have the Advanced Biosciences program, which includes a lot of bioinformatics, which is the merger of computer science and biology and how information influences the behavior of living things. In the bottom right, international strategy, including security policy around issues involving, well, the war in Ukraine and the policy around North Korea, as well as development strategies for developing countries. And in the lower left, you'll see, well, me, quantum computing and quantum internet, which is my own particular area. So now, why am I actually talking about research? Well, the key thing, what makes SFC so different from everywhere else, is that students get involved in our research groups, in the faculty's research groups, almost right away. It's typical for students to get involved in to join a professor's research group, which we call the Kenkyukai, typically in their second year, sometimes even in their first year. I have several students who have joined me even in their first semester at campus. What I tell the incoming freshmen is that by the time they graduate, that about 25% of their units toward graduation will come from the Kenkyukai. And if they've done a good job, then about 50% of their work and 50% of their learning will actually take place in the Kenkyukai. You're working directly with the faculty, and about 90% of your growing up will take place in the Kenkyukai. You learn to manage yourself, you learn to manage a project, you learn to take responsibility for a lot of different things. So our graduates are highly valued by people out in industry and in graduate schools because of that very mature understanding of what it means to be involved in a project and to actually take responsibility for such things. So just as an example You might think of the technology of self-driving cars as being a technical issue. And on the right, you can see some of the technologies. There's basic information technology and GPS and GIS and vision systems and AI and all that sort of stuff. But in fact, there are also a lot of social issues around self-driving cars, including how we're going to deal with traffic law and insurance responsibilities, various kinds of policy, how this influences the economy, how it affects the design of cities, for example. So there's a tremendous amount of work going on there. Another example is, and I've already mentioned architecture. This is a group of our students who are actually involved in the construction of a school in, I believe that's in Congo, actually, in West Africa. Another one is the bioinformatics group, and the biosciences group has spun out a company called Spiber, which is making artificial spider silk, which is a really attractive area for a lot of reasons. My own group is the group I call Aqua, and you can find the URL for that just by Googling up Aqua and Keio. And we work on quantum computing, quantum internet, quantum education, and quantum community. The picture in the upper right there is my group from several years ago, and actually it's grown since then. We have about 40 students in the group right now, holding about 17 different passports. So there's great diversity within our own group working on these quantum technologies. And I have undergrads, for example, let's see, is he actually in the picture there? Where is he? Bum, 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 bum. Oh no, this picture was actually before my current student Soon joined the group. And he's been with me. He's now a third year undergrad, and he's been with the group for 3 years. And he already has 2 papers published and presented at international conferences, even as a third year undergrad. So, he's doing really tremendous work. So that gives you sort of an idea just very, very quickly of what the core idea of SFC. The core idea is to involve the students with the research groups and get them into those groups. And I think the relationship between faculty and students is closer at SFC than it is pretty much anywhere else in the world. All right, finishing up with just some of the administrative boilerplate stuff. I stuck this up. You've probably had a chance to look at it by now. I'm not going to talk about the money stuff, but if you worry about money, there are scholarships available. Only a limited number, not a huge number, but we do our best to support the students as best we can. And if you want to live in the on-campus dormitories, that's available, and the price for that's reasonable. The dormitories opened just last year, actually, and they're really marvelous. I've been inside and seen them. I'm impressed. This is what it looks like on the inside. Washing machines and everything available, all the things you would actually need. So how do you actually go about applying to the GIGA program? Well, like I said at the beginning, there's no need to come to Japan for a special written test or for an interview for the process. Everything is done remotely. Although if you want to come visit the campus, you're certainly welcome, and the International Office can help fill you in on how to go about doing that. The dates for the schedule, I'm not sure the actual deadline for this coming year has actually been announced, but it's generally in January, in line with most US application processes, and the results are announced in March. And then you can begin at your choice either in September of 2025 or in April of 2026. The standard Japanese academic calendar runs from April to September, April to March, but we accept students at both the undergrad level and graduate level entering in September as well. And most of the GIGA students do come in September, and that's perfectly fine. So what do you need to submit? Well, we like to see standardized test scores because that helps with us, but we have students applying from many different places, and so we're very flexible on that. If your first language is English and you're in an English schools, then you don't need to submit English proficiency proof, but otherwise you do. And then there's a set of things you have to submit, including a 3-minute online video, which doesn't need to be produced by professionals, but we want to see your face and we want to look into your eyes and we want to hear what it is that you want to do to make the world a better place. And let's see. So I think that's actually about it. Oh, finally, yes, just very, very quickly. Where do our students go when they graduate? People care about this a lot. Um, the majority of them from our campus go into industry here in Japan, a lot of them into the IT industry, a number of them into various manufacturing industries, and some of them into very financial services and things like that. They also go to a variety of graduate schools, including one of the students in my group picture that I just showed you. She's actually a PhD student to Duke University in the United States right now. And I think that's about it. So, that's the whirlwind tour of what things are like at SFC, and I'm looking forward to hearing what questions you have.
So the reason I chose SFC was because I felt like it would give me a lot of.
Let's see. So where are we right here? I should pop up the Q&A here, I guess. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Can international students apply for an undergraduate engineering program? So at our campus, the faculty are highly heterogeneous, and we cover many different fields, including computer engineering, internet, bioinformatics, all of the things that I talked about, as well as many others. But the formal science and engineering department, the Faculty of Science and Technology, has graduate programs that are available in English, but not currently an undergraduate program that's available in English. Let's see. What's the average student to faculty ratio at SFC? There is no actual average. Currently my group is about 25 undergrads, 6 or 8 graduate students, and about 4 or 5 what we call project faculty or tokening faculty who are directly involved in the group. So we have very close and very direct interactions among the group. Some of the groups are smaller. For years and years, my research group was just me and 3 or 4 undergrads. So it really depends on very much on the individual professor whose group you decide to join. Classes are sometimes small. Sometimes they're only 6 or 8 or 10 people, and sometimes they're very large. The largest and most popular classes, taught by the most famous professors on campus, are sometimes 600 or 800 people. So it really kind of varies. Let's see. Let's see. In prestigious Japanese universities, the majority of engineering and science students go to graduate schools. In the GIGA program, I believe about 20% of our students go on to graduate school directly after undergrad. So it's smaller than some of the other. It's a lower percentage than some of the other fields or universities. Over at the Faculty of Science and Technology, I think about 70% of the students stay on for at least a master's degree for going on. But among the students who do go on to graduate school, as you've seen in that chart I just posted, they go to the best places in the world. They go to Harvard and Duke and Cornell and London School of Economics and a variety of different places for that. Let's see. Test scores, we don't actually publish statistics about what the average or recommended SAT or other scores are. Let's see. Let's see. If you have dual citizenship in both the US and Japan. So the application process for GIGA does not make any distinction based on your citizenship. You can apply regardless of that citizenship. The only requirement to be eligible to apply for the GIGA program is that at least 2 of your last 3 years of high school have to be outside the Japanese education system. Um, what your citizenship is determines only whether or not you need a student visa. And if you're a Japanese citizen, you don't need a student visa, but you'll probably need to register using your Japanese name if you have a different name. And in some cases, it determines your eligibility for scholarships, and the International Office can help you more with that. What's the acceptance rate? I'm not sure we actually publish that. Um, let's see. Da, 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 dum. Is there a computer science and or gaming degrees? We have at our campus, I am chair of what's called the cyber informatics program. And if you Google up Keio cyber informatics program, you'll find a short essay written by me and also a list of the 19 or so faculty that are in our program. And you can see the variety of things that people are involved in. Um, but you would all, if you're interested in things like gaming, you may also be interested in the digital arts section of campus, which we actually haven't really mentioned yet. There's a program called X Design. I'm chair of the cyber informatics program, but the X Design group includes computer graphics and computational music and some of the architecture and design faculty and things like that. It's marvelous. Let's see. Um, do we offer liberal arts classes or history courses as well? Yes, in fact. To give you an idea of the heterogeneity and flexibility of our campus, for a couple of years, Professor Wakita was the dean of the Faculty of Environment and Information Studies, and he is a computer graphics artist. He teaches programming courses, but he's really an artist at heart. And when he was an undergraduate here at SFC, he actually studied Chinese history, which I hadn't realized until he was talking about that a few years ago. Um, so the yes, there are people who work on Chinese history, U.S.-Japan relations. We have specialists in the history of Russia and the Soviet Union who unfortunately are appearing on TV quite a bit lately with respect to the war in Ukraine. So yes, there's a variety of set of things. There are 130 tenured faculty here at SFC, and all of us have at least one of these Kenkyukai that I talk about. And so there's this wildly heterogeneous group of people. You should scroll through, look through the website and just sort of look through the sets of faculty that are available. Most of the faculty have web pages for their research groups, and you'll be able to find just the bewildering variety of things that are going on here. So, some of the other universities have more programs, more finely sliced for international English education. At SFC, we only need basically the one program, Giga, because within the program and within our campus, we're so wildly heterogeneous. We cover so many different things. Let's see. The media studies, I think I answered that. Let's see. Confused about applying to Keio. So you apply to either the Faculty of Environment and Information Studies or to the Faculty of Policy Management. And you apply to that through the GIGA program. So the GIGA program is housed at our campus, but you will become a student of either the Faculty of Environment and Information Studies or Policy Management. And you can choose either. And like I said, once you're in, the distinction between the two is not much. So you really don't need to worry about that very much. And once you're at campus, you'll be directly involved with all of the Japanese students and able to take all of the classes and participate with all of the groups that are here as well. So you will apply essentially through the Giga doorway, but to either the Faculty of Environment and Information Studies or the Faculty of Policy Management. Our graduate programs available for international students in the field of robotics this time of year. So at our campus, as I mentioned, Social Robots is the research group that's actually run by our Professor Takashio, who is right now the dean of the graduate school at SFC. There are also people who are working on drones and self-driving cars, which involves a lot of the same technologies as robotics, which I mentioned. Let's see. Somebody's asking about how to apply for graduate schools. The process for applying to the graduate schools is listed on the website. You can apply to the graduate school either in May or October, I believe the deadlines are. The most recent deadline passed just a few weeks ago. And you can apply to join either the following April or the following September. So you can apply either 5 months before you want to come or 11 months before you actually want to come as a student. All right, and I see Ms. Ikeda's back with us. I think that means she's going to cut me off and tell me our time's up. So if you have other questions, you please contact the international office. Their contact information is easily findable on the web, and they're generally really responsive to things. So thank you all for your attention, and I hope we'll see you here at SFC next year or the year after.